so that others will have something to go back to kapag sila ay late o kaya kapag sila ay hindi maka-attend ngayon. But hoping na maka-attend sila dahil wala naman kayong other activities, nasa bahay lang naman. Alright, we're 43 now. John Kabuwang, Santos Naira Joy. Ayan, I already invited them to join our meeting. Okay, so the reason the face-to-face classes are suspended is due to the worsening weather here in the Philippines, specifically in our province in Pangasinan. Alam nyo naman na second to Tugigaraw, laging Pangasinan ang pinakamainit sa buong bansa, especially in Tagupan, the city of Tagupan here in Pangasinan, napakainit niyan. And there are cases of reported hypertension, collapse among children, kaya naman ang ginawang aksyon ng Department of Education and Commission on Higher Education ay isuspend yung face-to-face classes. And it's just ironic because nilipat natin ang school calendar natin from, we used to start our academic calendar by June, tama, June to March, and then nilipat natin siya ng September to May para maiwasan natin yung tag-ulan. Tapos ang problema naman natin, tag-init. Diba? It's funny, it's ironic. Hindi na alam kung anong solusyon ang gagawin para lang maitaas ang antas ng kalidad ng edukasyon sa Pilipinas. So anyway, kahit na online ito, nasa inyo pa rin naman yan ng mga estudyante kung paano kayo mag-aaral. Even if it's online, I think you can still do your best to study and yeah, to listen to the lectures, to your professors, kahit na online yan, face-to-face man o online, nasa estudyante pa rin kung paano ang gagawin niya para makapag-aral, okay, ng maayos. Okay, so we're now 44. I hope others can still join us. But anyway, the last activity that we did in our class, in our subject, was your quiz, tama? Yung quiz ninyo ng chapter 4 and 5. Tama ba ako?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I have already returned your quizzes. May kasamang scores na yon. I checked manually kasi sa Word ko yata siya, oh hindi, tama, ano na naman, G-form naman pala yun, pero may ibang section kasi na mano-mano, sa Word nila sinagutan. Pero my point is that what I noticed in your quiz, a lot of you Googled their answers. Tama? Or raise your hand, just be very honest. It's okay, it's fine. I'm allowing it, but this will serve as a warning because it's not allowed in your midterm examination. So once I got you do that, during the midterm examination, it's automatic failure. Hindi siya -5, hindi siya -10, failure agad, okay? Because that's the worst form of cheating during an examination. Okay, so kung walang magtataas ng kamay sa inyo, I will just say what I have observed and what I have noticed to serve as a warning. So halos karamihan sa inyo ay hindi nag-base ng answer doon sa mga videos na isinend ko, doon sa PDF na material natin, pero mabilisan ang gusto nila. So kinapi-paste nila yung question and then nilagay nila sa browser, sa Google, and then whatever came out, yun yung kanilang isinagot. And as a result, their answers were wrong. Kasi not everything in the internet is correct and maaaring tama yun pero in a different context. Kasi meron tayong sariling context sa ating klase, sa ating subject matter. So may mga pinag-uusapan tayo na limited or within the context of our syllabus outside the context of the internet na napakalawak. Okay? Anyways, so ayun, ang midterm examination din yung for me to avoid producing printouts, for me to avoid printing here in the office kasi kulang ang resources natin. Online siya, however, you will have to do it face-to-face. Nasubukan nyo na yan, if I'm not mistaken, last year or last semester. Sa classroom kayo nakasagot using your phone, tama?
Yes,
Yes.
Okay, so that is what we're going to do. So make sure na our next meeting, our midterm examination ay next week kasi hopefully hindi na suspended ang face-to-face natin. So ganitong time, from 10 to 12, although 1 hour lang. 1 hour lang ang midterm examination ninyo. 50 items siya. make sure that you have mobile data to access the G-form, okay? And then, kung may problema kayo sa MS Teams, it's already middle of the semester, pa-end na nga tayo, finals na tayo, so it's not a reason na may problema ka sa Teams mo, kasi kung may problema ka sa MS Teams mo, dapat nung una pa lang, you have already consulted with the MIS, okay? So kung may problema ka at hindi mo pa naayos, mag-chat ka na agad, especially that you are, PSVA pala kayo, hindi kayo IT. Ayan, mag-chat ka na sa MIS, humingi ka na ng tulong doon kung paano mo i-resolve yung problema mo sa MS Teams, okay? Kasi that's not a reason anymore na nasa kalagitnaan na tayo ng ating semester. Patapos na nga kasi finals na. Okay, so ganun. You will use your phone to answer your midterm examination, but you cannot access any other browser aside from the G-form lang. So I will check, iikot ako kung kinakailangan kong pumunta by your side, by your seat, one by one during the midterm examination. I will do that. And same manner, your all of your things should be in front or at the back. Only a pen and a piece of paper will be on the top of your desk to answer your midterm examination. Ayun, so hindi na ako mag-print, hindi na ako photocopy ng midterm examination ninyo, i-access nyo yung G-form, you will answer that inside our classroom during our face-to-face meeting for next week. Okay, so I think that's the most important announcement for today. Aside from the warning na subukan mo lang mag-Google, anyway, situational naman. Hindi yan -5, hindi yan -10, bagsak agad yan. Doon sa quiz ninyo, pinagbigyan ko na kayo, it's okay. Siguro hindi talaga maiwasan, quiz lang naman, pero sa midterm examination ninyo, that's a big no-no. Again, I repeat, hindi siya -5, hindi siya -10, but failure. So sigurado na kapag nahuli kita, ulitin mo ang Living in the IT Era na elective Gen Ed course. Okay? And aside from that, na-notice ko rin na ang karamihan sa inyo, ang source lang ng kanilang review ay doon sa PDF material na naka-upload sa ating MS Teams, yung sinend ko sa inyo. Okay, remember that aside from that, I am also downloading PowerPoint presentations I'm sharing with you to expand our knowledge on those topics. So hindi lang dapat doon sa PDF. Correct naman yun, tama naman yung mga nandoon, and PSU pa nga ang nag-draft nun, pero i-expand pa rin natin yung horizon natin. Hindi lang tayo magsisettle sa material na yun. I am downloading PowerPoint presentations and sharing with you, and also video lectures and videos na kasama doon sa syllabus ninyo. Lahat ng yun, kailangan yung ni-review, hindi lang yung PDF material. Okay? Napansin nyo yan sa quiz, di ba? Yung mga nandoon ay hindi lang taken from the PDF material but taken from the videos. Kakasend ko lang ng video sa inyo kanina. I hope kung wala kayong klase prior to this, you have already watched the video before we discuss chapter 6 privacy. Okay? So that's the second reminder I hope would help you to ace the midterm examination and to ace this subject para kung gusto nyo makakuha ng mataas na grado. Okay, so for today, we're going to discuss chapter 6 privacy, and I have here a PowerPoint presentation separate from the PDF material that we have. Okay, I'll be sharing my PowerPoint now, and please listen. Okay, anyway, do you have any questions muna before we begin? May katanungan? As much as I don't want to start finals, kailangan kasi masasayang yung oras natin kung hindi. Kumbaga, na-preempt na yung midterm examination natin. Kumbaga kung pagkain siya, panis na, tapos nagluto ka na ng bago. So it has a negative impact, but I hope na ma-hurdle na lang natin, ma-overcome natin yung negative impact na yun. And the very reason I am discussing today this first ever chapter under finals is not to waste time. So para hindi masayang ang oras, sisimulan ko na ito. Sana hindi magkagulo-gulo sa utak ninyo. Ang focus nyo pa rin ay yung coverage natin for the midterm examination. Anyway, chapter 6 as usual, every after chapter, the next chapter is always related from the previous chapters. Parang itong privacy, natakol natin ito dun sa 5th chapter natin. So interrelated naman sila. So I think hindi naman siya mag-focus ng negative impact dyan sa utak ninyo kahit na topic na ito ng finals. Alright. So can you now see my screen?
Yes,
Yes.
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I hope all of you that are listening, may I check lang, raise your hand if you're listening to me before I start. Can you raise your virtual hands if you're listening to me? And then I will call on those people who are not raising their hands. Alright. How about Jordan, Melanie, Janine, Rosemary, Johnson, Jonalyn, and John Caleb? Okay, so let's start now. Chapter 6 is all about privacy. And of course, to begin with, let's define what privacy is. So what is privacy? This is the right to be let alone. Okay, privacy, this pertains to your want to be alone or to be in private, to protect your data, to protect everything about you. That is what we pertain to the terminology privacy. So leave me alone, or this is my boundary, do not ever cross my boundaries. Privacy ang tawag doon. Okay? Para lang i-jumpstart natin yung discussion, yung mga magkakaibigan dyan na mahilig magtanong ng update sa kanilang mga kaibigan, while it is a trend or while it is just natural to us, events happening in the life of your friend, sometimes hindi tayo aware, natatapakan na natin yung kanilang privacy, yung kanilang boundaries. For example, oy bes, kumusta na yung parents mo may ang tawag dito, nag-aaway pa sila, may kabit pa yung tatay mo, may mga ganung bagay. Well, they are normal, well, they are usual, kasi nga magkaibigan kayo. Sometimes, what we have to do is to avoid them as much as possible. Stop making those topics as the center of your conversation because you are not aware, or you may not be aware that you're already crossing the boundaries of your friend. Okay? So I repeat, even if they are your friends, do not ever cross their boundaries. Do not ever forget that they also have the right to privacy. Good morning po, ma'am. Morning po. That they also have the right to privacy. And that is actually our topic for today, Chapter 6, Privacy. Aside from the right to be let alone, this is also the state or condition of being free from being observed or disturbed by other people, and the state of being free from public attention. Okay, so aside from the example that I have given, can you raise your hand and tell me things regarding privacy, examples ng privacy, base dito sa mga definitions, right to be let alone, state or condition of being free from being observed or disturbed by other people, the state of being free from public attention. Okay, yung mga definitions na yan ay very crucial to the concept of privacy. If I were to give you an example, ang pinaka maganda dito ay sa media. Okay. For example, reporter ka from ABS-CBN and your task is to gather data from the very first person infected by the coronavirus disease or the COVID-19. My question is, may karapatan ba si COVID patient na i-decline yung request ni ABS-CBN reporter to gather data from him? Yes or no? And then tell me why. Raise your hand. Yes, Davina?
For me, ma'am, yes. Yes.
Why?
Ma'am, kasi nakay-patient naman na yan kung i-media pa niya yung yung sakit niya. For me, that is private na po yan. Hindi na po dapat i-media yung ganong klaseng sakit. So, for me, kung kakausapin siya, syempre dapat wala ng camera na nakatutok sa kanya. Kasi mahihiya po yung tao eh. So, ang mangyayari po dyan, may baka makita yung mukha niya sa media. Syempre, pag-uusapan na siya ng lahat.
Alright, thank you, Divina. So yes is obviously the answer. Of course, may karapatan si COVID patient na i-decline yung request ni ABS-CBN reporter to gather data from him regarding his or her condition. However, what the media can do as a compromise is to craft or to come to an agreement with the person they want to interview. Kasi usually, ang purpose naman ng mga ganong interview ay to raise awareness and to inform the public. So the purpose is very good. However, we also have to take note the right to privacy of an individual. So ano ang pwedeng gawing compromise ng ABS-CBN reporter? First of all, he or she can blur the image or the face of the person that he is interviewing. I-blur na lang niya, hindi niya ipapakita sa television kasi especially during the peak of the pandemic, ang mga tao ay very judgmental and very critical and very maselan to the point na pinandidirihan na yung mga infected ng COVID, and not really pinandidirihan pero they also fear for their life kasi, 'di ba? Especially nung peak ng pandemic, yung talagang halos everyday may namamatay, halos everyday may naibabalita na nai-infect. Hindi lang sila, pero pati pamilya nila na-discriminate na because of that particular disease. Na kapag ipinaalam nila sa public, yung kanilang identity o yung kanilang, ayun nga, kahihiyan ay at stake. Yung kanilang privacy ay at stake. So yun yung mga iniiwasan natin at importance ng privacy laws and regulations that are within the Philippine Constitution or even sa mga simpleng batas lang in local or in a school or in a community to protect one's privacy. Okay, so compromise ang terminology natin doon. Tama na may right to privacy, pero tama rin na for a very good purpose to raise awareness to the public or to inform the public, they can come to a term na lang or to an agreement, which is hindi ka naman namin ipapakita, hindi rin naman namin sasabihin ang pangalan mo, ikikwento mo lang naman sa amin yung mga experiences mo to raise awareness to the public para alam nila kung ano yung mga dapat nilang gawin, hindi dapat nilang gawin, etc. Okay, so thank you very much, Divina Martinez. And aside from that, ang dami actually pwedeng maging examples ng privacy na ito. A sports enthusiast, for example, who won a gold medalist, syempre hindi magkakandamayo ang mga reporters natin to get the views and opinions and reflection or thoughts of the winner of the sports enthusiast natin who brought glory sa Pilipinas. However, when we're talking about privacy, again, it's their right to privacy not to respond to these requests. Tama? Kahit na nanalo sila at gustong ipabatid ng GMA sa buong mundo yung karangalan na naibigay nila sa Pilipinas, may mga tao na ayaw nilang sumikat, ayaw nilang ipaalam kung ano yung mga naging accomplishments nila because they want a peaceful life away from people. Ayaw nila, okay, most of us, I would admit, ako, gusto ko ng spotlight, gusto ko ng mga tao na hindi nagkakandamayaw, pero may mga tao din na ayaw ang ganong klase ng buhay. As much as possible, they stay away from the spotlight because they don't want people to be coming after them, asking for pictures, kakain lang sila sa restaurant, may mga abala pa, mag-stroll lang sila sa park, may mga abala pa, and for others, it's the purpose of safety. Okay, do you still want to say something, Divina?
One more example po sa privacy, yung mga nananalo po sa loto.
Correct. Tama. Oo. In connection to that, something is funny about that. Kapag may naibabalitang nanalo sa loto, better kasi someone who bets, di ba? Someone who is tumataya sa loto, kaya better kasi someone who bets. Hello, sir. Good morning po. Someone who bets. Tapos nakakatawa yung comment section kasi akala nila yung better ay apelido o pangalan ng nanalo. So lagi na sinasabi na swerte naman ng pamilyang better, laging nananalo. Pero what they don't know is that the word better means someone who is nagtataya or tumataya. Better, someone who bets, di ba? Someone who places his or her bet. Ayan, tama. Definitely, especially if it's with the involvement of monetary, talagang poprotektahan yung privacy ng isang tao kasi pwede siyang malagay sa alanganin, sabihin na nanalo siya ng 300 million, no? Then syempre, it will open opportunity for those evil-minded people, yung mga magnanakaw, yung mga scammers dyan, to run after them, di ba? To chase them, and worse, ay malagay pa sa alanganin yung kanilang buhay. Yes, Moises?
Ma'am, another example po sa mga crime po kapag merong mga witness sa mga nangyaring krimen, di ba po, may right yung mga witnesses or witness na hindi na sila magpakita. Kumbaga, meron
Correct.
silang protection and security.
Correct. Very good. Very, very good example, Moises. Kung mapapansin ninyo, yung mga ibinabalita sa inyong television, yung mga witnesses natin, nakatakip ng mukha yan, naka-cover, naka-face mask. Hindi lang face mask, pero yung buong mukha na mask, ng black, o kaya towel, or anything that would cover their face for them not to be recognizable. Kasi, syempre, pag sila ay tumayong witness sa isang kaso, laban sa isang party o laban sa isang tao at nagkataon na yung taong yun ay powerful, influential, definitely, they will run after the life of that witness para hindi na magkaroon ng tibay yung isinasampang kaso. Mapawalang bisa yung kaso, for example, kasi wala nang tatayong witness. So marami ng ganyang cases, marami nang napatay. For example, yung sa drug cases, for example, tapos nababalitaan na lang natin na yung tumayong witness napatay sa bilibid, syempre may inutusan na, etc. Things like that. So very, very good example, Moises, Joshua. Okay, so I hope na the word privacy is very clear with you. I'm sure, oo, kahit hindi lang naman ito yung first time na na-encounter nyo ang concept of privacy. Okay, let's proceed. There are many aspects of privacy. Aside from the right to be let alone, secrecy, or the option to conceal any information from others. Ayan, again, on a very superficial level, yung example ko sa inyo kanina, with your friends, with your classmates, or with the members of your family, kahit nakapamilya mo yan, may right to privacy pa rin yan as an individual. Kahit na family members kayo, kapag may ayaw siyang sabihin sa iyo na impormasyon, ay wala kang karapatan para pilitin siya. Best, sige na, sabihin mo na kasi. Okay, so yung mga ganyan, while they are usual, while they are natural, while they are normal, I still encourage you to avoid them in connection to our topic this morning na privacy. Kasi everyone is entitled to the right to privacy. So kapag ayaw nang sabihin kasi uncomfortable siya to answer your questions, wag mo nang pilitin. Best kasi, anong pangalan ng jowa mo? Best kasi, para ma-search ko na sa Facebook. Kung gwapo o pangit, para ma-assert kita. So hindi, okay? Privacy pa rin yun. What else? Okay, there was a news I have read around 2017, so college pa ako nung nabalitaan ko to. Isang anak na nagjo-journal, so everyday, nagda-diary siya. Tapos yung nanay niya, pinuslit yung diary niya because very curious yung nanay niya, pinuslit yung diary niya, binasa yung diary niya. Did you know that that daughter, yung anak na yun, kinasuhan niya yung nanay niya? Okay, sa ibang bansa ito. And it's understandable. I mean, perhaps here in the Philippines, it may be, or the daughter may be put in bad light kapag dito sa Pilipinas kasi anong klaseng anak ka, sasampahan mo ng kaso yung nanay mo, etc., etc. Pero hindi dapat tayo nag-victim blaming because in the situation, ang biktima doon ay yung anak, hindi yung nanay. Biktima yung anak, criminal yung nanay for intruding the privacy of her daughter. Diary niya yun eh. Okay? So kinasuhan niya. Pero here in the Philippines, again, sa kultura natin, sabihin natin na nanay mo naman yan, bakit ka magtatago ng sikreto, etc. Bakit hindi mo ipapabasa yung diary mo or ng klase kang anak na kasuhan mo ang nagluwal sa'yo, etc. So those thinking, because we are bounded with our Filipino culture of very close family ties, etc., etc. Alright, the option to limit the access others have to one's personal information, personhood, and autonomy, protection of intimate relationships. Definitely, ayan, protection of intimate relationships. Yung example ko nga sa inyo kanina, kapag ayaw niyong sabihin sa'yo kung anong pangalan ng jowa niya or asawa niya or bagong ano niya, etc. niya, bagong ka-fling niya, huwag mo nang pilitin. Alalahanin mo itong chapter na ito. And that is one way to building our community din eh, respecting one's boundaries, we can live in a better place kapag we try to respect one's boundaries. If we try to get out from the culture that we are used to, I know it's difficult kasi kultura natin mga Pilipino na maging chekadora. Pero if we can try to go back to this chapter and accept the challenge of not crossing one's boundaries, then I think we can live in a better place. Kasi it will make us avoid prejudices, judgment towards other people kapag iniiwasan natin na magtanong sa kanila, especially those questions that are very uncomfortable to answer. Okay, so privacy information, health-related, personal finance-related, political view-related, intimate relationships, any other personal information such as residential information and contact details. Okay, number 1 concept, privacy information. Teka lang, mag-search lang ako. Okay, dito sa health-related class, doon sa privacy breach na diniscuss ko sa inyo last time, anong tawag na doon sa yung in a hospital setting? Hindi niya siya nurse, hindi niya siya doktor, kapitbahay niya siya. Tapos pinakialaman niya yung records ng isang pasyente na hindi naman niya pasyente kasi gusto niya lang makichika kung anong sakit nung kapitbahay niya. Tapos nakita niya doon na may cancer yung kapitbahay niya, or let's say HIV, a very sensitive condition or disease. Gusto niya lang makichika kasi kapitbahay niya nga yung na-admit doon sa hospital na pinagtatrabahuan niya. So that is wrong, okay? Health-related privacy information. Okay, personal finance-related, can you give me an example dito which involves politicians? Sige nga. How do politicians exercise their rights to privacy when it comes to personal finance related? O, sige nga. Paano pinoprotektahan ng mga politician yung kanilang karapatan sa privacy when it comes to their finances? When it comes to their financial assets? Okay, ito. Sige. Mag-isip. Critical thinking, I'll give you enough minutes to think. Oh yes, Jupiter.
Hello, ma'am. Ma'am, I think, kasi minsan, ma'am, di ba pag sinabi natin politiko, minsan, yung nanggagaling yung pera nila sa masamang, masamang, may mga ganong politiko, ma'am, di ba? Yung ginagawa nila sa pera nila is, pinatransfer nila sa ibang
Sorry,
account.
you're a
Kumbaga,
little inaudible, Jupiter.
hello, ma'am. Malinaw po ba?
Pwede akong paulit from the top.
Hello, ma'am. Dinig po ba, ma'am?
Mahina.
Mahina. Mahina. Hello, ma'am.
Okay, sige. Hintayin natin si Jupiter ha. Mukhang may maganda siyang sasabihin.
Hello, ma'am.
Okay, better?
Malinaw na po ba, ma'am?
Yes.
Ma'am, ito ma'am, opinion ko lang ma'am Kasi ma'am, 'di ba yung mga politiko, ibang politiko ma'am is nanggagaling yung pera nila sa masamang gawain like drugs, ganun po.
Yes.
So I think ma'am dun sa personal finance related ma'am is ang nangyayari is money laundering. Tinatransfer yung pera sa ibang account, ibang pangalan. Siyempre bilang privacy.
Okay. Ayan, I got it na, Jupiter. I got your point. So the point
Yes,
of Jupiter is that what politicians do to protect their assets is by transferring them to another name. Kasi nga kapag sa pangalan nila, pwede silang ma-question na ito lang yung sinasahod mo, bakit mayroon kang ganitong asset? Okay, let me clarify on that. It's more of a tactic than a mechanism to protect his or her privacy. Tactic yun eh. Parang ano niya, ninja moves niya na para hindi siya ma-question na may ganito siyang mga ari-arian, may ganito siyang properties, ay ipinapangalan niya sa iba na perhaps relative or tauhan, pero in fact or in truth, sa kanya naman talaga yun, yung asset na yun. Itinatransfer niya lang sa pangalan ng iba para protektahan yung sarili niya. So not to protect his or her privacy, but to protect himself from being questioned. Kasi nga, ganito lang ang sahod mo, bakit may ganitong property ka? So, ganun ang punto ni Jupiter. However, as I have said, it's more of a tactic than a mechanism to protect one's privacy. So, ganito kung paano protektahan ng mga politicians ang kanilang privacy when it comes to their finances. Hindi sila basta-basta ma-openan ng bank account nang hindi sila nag-approve or hindi sila nag-file o hindi sila pumipirma sa isang petition or hindi sila nag-agree. For example, the ombudsman would request them to open their bank account and publish publicly para mapatunayan na yung asset nila, ari-arian nila ay sakto lang or within lang sa sinasahod nila or sa income nila kung may businessman sila, etc. So kung hindi sila pumayag, no one has the right to open their bank account. So ganun kung paano protektahan ng mga politicians yung kanilang privacy. It's still upon their agreement, it's still upon their authority or permission na yun. It's still upon their permission kung ipapabukas ba nila o hindi yung kanilang mga bank account. Okay, so yung sinabi ni Jupiter, more of a tactic, transferring their assets to other name para lang hindi sila ma-question kasi hindi naman nakapangalan sa kanila, pero ang totoo ay sa kanila naman yung property na yon. Oh, sounds familiar. Sino ba yung politician natin na halos lahat ay may property siya sa buong Pangasinan, ganon, etc. Okay, so na tayong magpangalan. Let's go to next topic, intimate relationships, political views related. Ayan, sa voting. Voting. Sige nga, explain nyo nga kung paano napoprotektahan ng isang voter yung kanyang privacy. O di ba yung setting natin sa botohan sa presinto, walang kahit sino ang pwedeng lumapit sa iyo na tumulong sa iyo, magdikta sa iyo or picturean yung balota mo or i-flaunt yung balota mo, walang ganun sa presinto, walang sino man ang pwedeng lumapit sa iyo at diktahan ka kung sinong iboboto mo. So that is privacy when it comes to voting. Hindi ka pwedeng lapitan ng kahit sino at sabihan ka ng kung sino ang iboboto. And any other personal information. Intimate relationships, yung nasabi ko na sa inyo kanina, avoid asking your friends kung sino ang jowa nila, etc. Okay, possible conflicting situations. We have financial privacy versus taxation laws, criminal investigation, contingency situations, freedom of expression, versus privacy of individual. Natakal na natin to in the previous topics. There's a difference between your right to expression, your right to freedom of expression versus your accountability sa mga sinasabi mo. Totoo na may freedom of expression tayo, especially sa inyo na mga mahilig mag-post sa Facebook, pero don't forget na may accountability din tayo doon. Na-discuss ko na yan. Sino yung mga nakasukan dahil dyan? Si Enchong D, yan, siya pa lang naman yung naririnig ko na artista na nakasuhan, na nag-air ng sentiment sa Facebook. I don't know kung pinangalanan niya, tapos nakasuhan siya, at yung ipinambayad niya para hindi siya makulong habang nangyayari yung kaso, habang dinidinig yung kaso ay 1 milyon. Okay, paano pag kayo ang makasuhan ng ganyan, may 1 milyon kayo? So be very careful when posting or airing your sentiments. Rights of individuals come with accountability or responsibility. Okay, next. Possible privacy violations. Number 1, surveillance. Surveillance without informing or excessive monitoring. Ayan. May pinapa-surveillance ka na tao, may pinapasundan ka. Hindi pwede yun. Pwede kang kasuhan. For example, sabihin natin na in a workplace, yung boss, for example, yung manager, tapos very curious siya sa lifestyle ng kanyang employee, ng kanyang trabahador, tapos pinasundan niya, pinasurveillance niya, hindi pwede yun. in contrast yun or tinatapakan niya yung right to privacy ng individual na pinapa-surveillance niya. Okay? And then hacking systems, hacking information, na-discuss na din natin yan. We have black hacking, white hacking. O yung white hacking, positive yun. For example, i-hack ni Sir Chris Mark ang isang system para pigilan ang pagsabog ng isang bomba sa isang lugar. White hacking yun, positive yun. Pag black hacking, hinahack mo ang bank account para manakaw mo yung laman, hinahack mo ang Facebook page ng isang university para masiraan, black hacking yun. Okay, difference between white and black hacking. And then blackmailing, example of blackmailing in relation to magjowa, boyfriend, girlfriend, paano nangyayari ang blackmailing? Can you give me an example? Oh, aside from Divina, parang ilang beses ko na rin ito naulit-ulit sa inyo, di ba? Parang to raise awareness. Nag-recite na yata si Moises. Sige, Moises.
Ma'am, for example, sa mga couple, kapag may demand po sila na parang privacy na siya pero hindi ibigay nung or ayaw ibigay nung lalaki or babae. So, parang gagamit po siya ng negative na parang blackmail niya po para yun nga, which is nagiging mali po siya.
Okay, thanks Moises. So ulitin ko lang yung example natin from ever since we discussed these sorts of topics. So isang magjowa, for example, yung lalaki pinagsend niya ng nude picture yung babae, yung babae naman na syunga ay pumayag, and then ang request ng lalaki sa kanya ay, alam niyo na, they will engage in an activity which involves intimacy. Tapos ayaw pumayag ni girl, hanggang picture lang, ayaw ko ng actual, kanto ng girl na bobo. Tapos, syempre, nabubo, di ba? Syempre, itong si Guy, may pinangahawakan na siya. Hindi ka pwedeng tumanggi sa akin. Kung hindi, kakalat ko itong sinend mo sa akin, etc. That is blackmailing. Just to raise awareness kasi rampant ito sa age range ninyo, mga college students. Okay? Another possible privacy violations, we have identity theft. Na-discuss na natin to. Losing one's laptop, notebook, smartphone, possible loss of identities, username and passwords, possible loss of privacy contents. Okay, so just this week, I have a colleague who lost her iPhone. Tapos ang concern niya ay hindi, aside from syempre mahalang iPhone, so syempre concern niya yon na mahalang iPhone tapos nawala niya, masakit sa loob. Pero aside from that, ang concern niya ay yung contacts niya doon sa cellphone na nawala at yung mga na-files na nandoon. So ang ginawa niya, parang magbibigay na lang siya ng reward to whoever would return the phone kasi hindi lang din naman papakinabangan kasi merong feature yung iPhone na kapag ka nawala, pwede na lang siyang ipa-deactivate para hindi magamit. So, hindi mo lang din naman magagamit yan, why not return it to me, bibigyan pa kita ng 10,000. So, ganun yung gagawin ng colleague ko. Yun yung nabasa ko sa post niya. She's also working here in PSU, nawala niya yung iPhone niya. Ang concern niya bukod doon sa mahal na iPhone ay yung kanyang contacts, contact details, and the files na nandoon sa phone niya. And then, privacy data collected by OS and other internet-related systems and apps like social media or search engines. Okay, just to share with you, when I worked with Philippine Statistics Authority, and then alam nyo naman kung ano ang mga papeles sa Philippine Statistics Authority, may kinalaman yan sa demographic data ng isang tao, data about a certain place, etc. Basta very important information na hindi dapat nababasa ng isang ordinaryong citizen. So yung mga papel namin sa PSA class, hindi namin yan tinatapon o ipinagbebenta sa mga ngalakal, yung mga naiimbak namin na papel-papel doon. Actually, binibenta siya, pero after shredding. Okay? So that's your clue, shredding. I-shred mo muna yung documents before mo siyang maibenta sa mga nangangalakal. Kasi may mga data doon o information na hindi pwedeng mabasa ng kahit sino. So that is one way to protect one's privacy in an institution, to shred important documents na naglalaman ng sensitive data or information. Okay, that is hard copy, tama? O yung doon sa phone, 'di ba? Ang pwedeng gawin nung nakawala ng iPhone, ipa-deactivate niya nga para hindi na mabuksan yung mga files doon containing very important data. Paano pag hindi iPhone? O at least may password naman kahit hindi iPhone. Pero kapag iPhone kasi talaga may feature sila na pwedeng ipa-deactivate. Tama, Divina? Kapag nawala mo yung iPhone mo, pupunta ka sa Mac Store and then ipapa-block mo, ipapa-deactivate mo yung iPhone. Tama, Divina? O, tama, sabi niya.
Yes, ma'am.
Paano yung mga hindi iPhone? May lock, pero marami rin kasing mga magagaling na kahit na may lock or may password, magagamit pa rin. At least pagka iPhone, hindi na completely hindi kasi may papablock niya. Sa mga smartphones lang, yun. Be very careful na lang not to lose your phone, especially if they contain data. O, lalo na pagka may videos ka dyan na hindi ka aya-aya, Diyos ko, huwag mo iwala yung cellphone mo. Okay, how to preserve privacy, frequently change passwords of important user accounts. This piece of advice is not applicable to me kasi I'm a very forgetful person. Makakalimutin ako kaya iisa lang yung password ko ever since the world began. Pero ang ginagawa ko na lang para the password is strong, it's a combination of letters, characters, and numbers. So mahirap kasing i-hack ang password na combination ng letters, numbers, and characters. I mean, and symbols. Okay, so kung kayo hindi ganon ang password ninyo, palitan, tapos siguraduhin mo na lang na hindi mo makakalimutan. Kasi hindi rin advisable na isulat mo siya sa piece of paper para may pwede kang balikan pag nakalimutan mo or i-type mo siya sa conversation mo sa sarili mo. Hindi advisable yung mga yun kasi merong pagkakataon na hindi ikaw ang may hawak ng phone mo. Paano pag pinakialaman niya, nakita niya yung password mo, o di hindi na lang ikaw ang nakakaalam ng password mo, malalagay na sa alanganin yung privacy mo. So first piece of advice is not applicable to me, but if it is applicable to you, then do it. Change password every month, every 3 months, or every 6 months, or every year. Why not? Para lang maprotektahan mo yung sarili mo o yung privacy mo. Second, do not install suspicious software and browser plugins that may collect your privacy data. Yung mga link na sinesend sa inyo, be very careful not to immediately click on them kasi mga phishing pala sila, mga spam pala sila. Wag na wag magpapaklik ng link o magkiklik ng link lalo na kapag ang sender ay hindi nyo naman kilala. And then keep sensitive data encrypted. Alright, ito. This is very interesting kasi it's only a few months ago or a few months ago kasi parang this year lang ba? Or parang late last year, late last 2022 around the last quarter of 2022 ko lang nalaman yung encryption sa chat, sa text messages, sa chat. Sino nakakaalam? Sige nga, raise your hand mga ninja. Kung paano i-encrypt ang conversation with one person in Messenger. Wala nakakaalam sa inyo? Ay, sad. Gusto nyo i-share ko? Ayan. Okay. So I have a colleague here in, yes, Jupiter, you know? Can you tell us kung paano yung encrypted messages sa Messenger?
Ma'am, meron
And
yun
same
sa
with
ano sa
Mary
setting.
Rose. Sige, Mary Rose muna kasi narinig na natin si Jupiter kanina. Yes, Mary Rose?
Ma'am, yun po ba yung private message po? Yung kapag nilang press nyo po yung name po nung i-chat ninyo privately. Di ba iba pa po direct message, iba pa rin po yung private message po. Ilalang press nyo lang po, then lalabas na po yung parang yung mga options po dun, ma'am.
Oh, okay. So si Mary Rose hindi lang sa private message yung nalalaman niya, pati sa direct message pwedeng mag-encrypt. Mary Rose, tama ba yung narinig ko?
Yes, ma'am.
Turuan mo ako, Mary Rose, ha? Hindi lang pala sa private message pwedeng mag-encrypt, pati na rin sa direct message, okay? So yung doon sa private message class, all you have to do is set the time that you would like for your message to retain or for your message to disappear, like like bubbles sa clouds. Like in 20 seconds after reading, after nabasa ng kachat mo, maglalako na siya ng pusa. So I have a colleague here in the campus, and we are fond of talking about things that are very sensitive and what we do to protect ourselves from possible demonyo, from possible breachers, from possible chismosa. We go to our private conversation and then we encrypt our messages. Sinaselect lang namin dun sa settings. Let the messages disappear after 20 seconds. Ganon. So magdi-disappear na siya. Wala nang mababalikan yung chismosa kung ma-hack man niya yung account namin. Okay, pero sabi ni Mary Rose, doon sa direct message, pwede na rin yung encryption, encrypted. Okay. And then, provide only the minimum required data to third parties. Okay, so if ever or whenever you have to deal with third parties, let's say for example, you are in a contract, and then of course in a contract, information really is needed. You have to provide specific information needed by the company, for example, at piece of advice na nandito on how you can protect your privacy, ang ibibigay mo lang yung hinihingi. Huwag ka nang magbigay ng extra, huwag ka nang magsabi ng hindi naman kailangan. Kasi kung magbibigay ka ng hindi naman kailangan, it can be used against you. So kung ano lang yung kailangan doon sa kontrata ninyo, yun lang yung mga ipoprovide mo na information about yourself or data about yourself. Okay, protect your laptop, smartphone, backup and delete all sensitive data beforehand over your electronic devices for repair. Kapag magpapa-repair ka ng phones mo na sira at nagkataon na yung electronic engineer natin o yung mga nag-aayos ng cellphone, electrical, etc. Anong tawag sa kanila? Yung mga nag-aayos, mga repair natin sa bayan?
Technician, ma'am.
Ay,
Technician.
chismoso, pinakialaman yung files mo, pinakialaman yung videos and images mo, tapos nileak niya pa kasi it's very juicy, it's very sensitive, o kawawa ka. Pero actually, kahit nga i-delete mo, may danger pa rin eh. Kasi, if I'm not mistaken, yung nabasa kong article patungkol sa sex video ni Neri Naig, and then yung asawa niya, yung husband niya, pangalan ng asawa niya?
Chito Miranda.
Ah?
Chito Miranda, ma'am.
Si Chito. Sino nakapanood na? Nagay! Raise your hand! Be proud! Namumurang tumawa si Jupiter. Anyway, about that, yung nabasa kong article patungkol doon, ang sinabi ni Neri Naig and Chito Miranda ay nasira yung laptop nila, pinaayos nila, deleted naman lahat, pero nagkataon lang na yung pinagbigyan nila ng pag-aayusan nila ng laptop ay very techy, and then even if the file was deleted, this particular man was able to retrieve the video file. Diba? Chismoso din, nahayop, diba? Actually, pwede siya kasuhan ni Neri Naig and Chito Miranda, pero sa tingin ko ay hindi naman na nila pinag-aksayahan ng panahon. Pero that's the point, even if you have already deleted your files, ano pa rin, pwede pa rin. Lalo na pag techy yung isang tao, pwede pa rin nang i-retrieve yung mga deleted files. Okay, in connection to that, sino ang nakakaalam ng keys? Keyboard keys on how you can permanently delete a file. So, instead of deleting it lang, meron tayong tinatawag na permanent deletion. So, paano yun? Anong combination sa keyboard? Sige nga. Oh, no one knows? Sino ang gumagawa ng permanent deleting kapag ka nag-delete ka ng file mo sa laptop? Shift delete. Kapag delete lang, mag-i-store pa yan sa trash bin o sa ano mo. Oo, tama, sa trash bin. Pero pag shift delete, wala na. Hindi, permanently deleted na siya. Hindi mo na siya mare-restore. Okay, so kayo kapag may sensitive files kayo na gusto nyo i-delete, shift delete nyo at hindi lang delete. Nagkakaintindihan? Especially so if you are using devices that are not yours. For example, nakilog-in ka dito sa campus, hindi naman sa'yo yung laptop, hindi naman sa'yo yung desktop. Very sensitive yung files mo, mag-shift delete ka at hindi lamang delete. Okay? Alright, next one. Protest against unethical excessive monitoring. So how can you protest against unethical excessive monitoring? Just make sure to black and white lagi yan. Mag-letter ka lang lagi, hindi pwedeng verbally. Hindi mo pwedeng sinasabihan yung boss mo na I am very uncomfortable that you are monitoring me. What is the use? Ayan, hindi na ako comfortable sa ginagawa mo. Hindi pwedeng verbally lang. Dapat mag-letter ka. So just be very polite and express your concern over the matter and come to a terms, di ba? Pag-uusapan ninyo. That is how you can protest. Hindi verbally, pero black and white, may written document. Okay? Teka lang ha, may concern lang ako, class, balik ako. Yan, may ginawa lang ako class. Let's continue our discussion. Tapusin natin ito. It's just 11:02. Our time is from 10 to 12. Okay. Alright, so moving on to privacy aspects for corporations handling sensitive data naman. So when we see corporations, these are companies or institutions perhaps that handle sensitive data. Okay, so one very good example of an institution or of an agency here in the Philippines handling sensitive data ay yung pinagtrabahuan ko nga during my second job, which is the Philippine Statistics Authority. So pangalan pa lang, statistics, alam mo na agad na they are dealing with multiple types of data ng isang individual. Not only of an individual, pero data ng isang produkto, data ng isang lugar. Kung may mga naranasan na ninyo sa bahay ninyo na may mga lumipot na nagsasurvey na ano ang karaniwang ginagamit ng pamilya ninyo na pang toothpaste, top 1 Colgate, kanto, safeguard sa sabon, mga ganyan. Yan yung mga data na tinatrabaho ng PSA. So, hindi lang sa tao actually, pero pati na rin sa mga produkto. Parang sa isang linggo, ilang beses kayo bumibili ng toyo, mga ganyang bagay. Okay. So, PSA, aside from PSA, can you give me an example of any other institution handling sensitive data? Siyempre, definitely, yung military agency natin sa Pilipinas, di ba? Ano pa? Actually, halos lahat ng institutions, agencies, parang dito sa PSU, this is an educational institution or agency, nag-handle naman talaga ng mga sensitive data. Kunwari, yung mga data ninyo as students, hindi naman namin basta-basta yung pwedeng ipamigay sa iba. Okay, in connection to that, did you know that in Lingayen, during the pandemic, ng peak ng pandemic, ang ginawang solusyon ng PSU ay to coordinate with local government units of every town where PSU is situated or located. So on the part of Pangasinan State University main campus sa Lingayen, nag-coordinate sila sa LGU ng Lingayen. Ang coordination na yun ay ganito. Please give a space for our students in the munisipyo para doon sila na dapat yung space na yon or room na yon ay may internet connection para doon sila pumunta at mag-aral. Okay? Tapos itong si LGU ng Lingayen, ang kinukuha niyang kapalit ay data ng mga bata. Si PSU syempre hindi pumayag yan. Why will we give you the data of our students? Kasi ang purpose ni LGU Lingayen, I don't know lang, narinig ko lang naman, baka hindi naman totoo, we don't know the truth. Ang purpose nila ay sa voting chenes. Alam nyo naman yan, political things. Syempre hindi pumayag ang PSU. And did you know na hindi pinagbigyan ng LGU ng Lingayen ang PSU sa request nila na magkaroon ng space doon sa munisipyo para sa mga bata. So, Lingayen lang ang hindi pumayag. All the other towns in San Carlos, in Alaminos, Urdaneta, sa lahat ng munisipyo, meron kang makikita doon na PSU Hub, PSU Learning Center, kwanto, para doon pupunta ang mga bata to access internet connection. Okay, so yun lang naman. Source of privacy data, we have employees data, customers data, and any other third-party data collected. So yung employees data natin pwedeng maging demographic or yung tinatawag natin na biographical data. Yung demographic, ito yung pangalan, edad, address, tapos yung isa naman, yung kung naranasan nyo lang magpa-national ID, two types of data yan, demographic, and the other one ay yung sa iris scan, fingerprints, and then facial photograph. Okay, so there are aspects to that privacy concerning constitutions or institutions and agencies that hold important data or information about a person. So may legal aspects tayo and then ethical aspects. So when we say legal aspects, we have EU Data Protection Directive, UK Data Protection Act, and USA Acts on Privacy. And we also have that here in the Philippines. And I think in every country, they also have laws that protect data privacy of an individual. Hindi lang sa mga nabanggit na mga bansang ito. Okay, para i-discuss na lang natin isa-isa yung mga nandito. Provisions ng EU Data Protection Directive, the 7 principles governing the protection of personal data. Number 1, notice. Data subjects should be given notice when their data is being collected. Okay, so dapat aware yung kinukuhanan mo ng data na kinukuhanan mo siya. Okay, dapat aware siya. Hindi pwedeng patago o pasekreto na nagagather ka ng data patungkol sa kanya. Kaya nga, kapag sa thesis din or sa studies, tapos nag-survey kayo ng inyong mga respondents, pinapaalam nyo sa kanila or it's in a form of letter na may I request your institution for me to float my questionnaires, mga ganyang bagay, mga ganyang letter. Kailangan mo munang magpaalam, kailangan mo munang ipaalam doon sa kinukuhanan mo ng data, kailangan na aware siya na kinukuhanan mo siya ng data. So notice ang tawag doon, give them notice. And then second purpose, the data should only be used for the purpose stated and not for any other purposes. Okay? So doon sa research study natin, for example, ang purpose mo kung bakit kinukuha mo ang edad ng mga respondents mo ay kasi i-compare mo ang intellectual capacity ng age range 25 to 30, sa 21 to 26, at 20 to 24, and then 15 to 19. So may tatlong age ranges ka, ikukumpara mo, pagkukumprahin mo yung tatlong yan kung sino sa kanila ang pinakamagaling. Sa language, for example, kaya mo kinukuha yung kanilang edad. So yan ang nabanggit mong purpose, dyan mo lang gagamitin yung data nila na edad. Hindi mo yan pwedeng gamitin sa kahit na anong ibang purpose, sa kahit na anong ibang paraan. Okay, so I think that's clear. I hope that's clear. And then number 3, consent, it's the same with notice. You have to ask for permission or consent of the person that you are asking data from. So the data should not be disclosed without the data subject's consent. Okay, so kinuhanan mo, nag-gather ka ng data, pinablish mo sa research study mo, dapat alam nila, dapat may consent sila, dapat pumayag sila na ipapublish mo whatever results that you will arrive concerning the data that you have gathered from them. Okay? Okay, data protection directive pa rin, security. Collected data should be kept secure from any potential abuses. Sa PSA, meron silang registry. When we say registry, nandoon lahat, nakastore lahat doon ng data na nagather nila. So only particular people are can or have the ability to access that registry. Kasi syempre, may codes, may password, para hindi yan nabubuksan ng kahit sino man. For example, here in the campus, only the registrar in the name of Madam Myra Encina and his or her staff have the right to access information of the students, bukod doon sa estudyante mismo. So ako, as an instructor, hindi ko basta-bastang i-open ang data ng isang estudyante na hindi ko naman estudyante. Kahit nga estudyante ko, I will still ask permission from Madam Registrar Myra Encina or yung estudyante para makita ko yung data niya. Naiintindihan? So yung registrar natin, storage yan, factory, storage room, registry ng mga data ninyo ng mga estudyante. Okay? So security, nakasecure dyan lahat ng data nyo. Hindi basta-basta nabubuksan o nakapapasok ang kung sino man sa ating registrar's office. Okay, disclosure, data subject should be informed. Okay, access, data subject should be allowed to access their data and make corrections to any inaccurate data. Okay, yung kinuhanan mo ng data class, yung ginadaran mo ng data, dapat may access siya doon sa registry. Para kapag may nabasa siya na mali, for example, hindi naman sinasadya nung kumuha or nag-gather ng data na mag-input ng maling entry doon sa registry, the participant or the person involved has the chance to edit whatever erroneous data is inputted in the registry, okay? So I hope that's clear. Let's now proceed to accountability, which is the most important among all. When we're talking about accountability, this pertains to the data subjects having a method available to them to hold data collectors accountable for not allowing the above principles. Okay, how can we make our data gatherers accountable for their actions? Sige nga. Okay, for example, upon entering an institution or upon reporting to an institution for your first day as an employee, so natanggap ka na, ano-ano yung mga forms na unang ibinibigay sa'yo to hold you accountable? Raise your hand. Okay, let me revise the question. How can you make a person or an employee, for example, I am an instructor here in Pangasinan State University. How can the management, how can the administration make me accountable for my actions? Sa paanong paraan? Okay, let me revise the question. I am a contractual instructor in Pangasinan State University. How can PSU make sure that I will not be leaving the institution for the given duration, for the 6 months, for example? Paano? Paano nila masisigurado na hindi ako aalis within the duration of my contract? Sinabi ko na yung sagot. Taas niyo yung mga kamay niyo. Yes, Jupiter.
Ma'am, mag-sign ka ng contract na hanggang 6
Correct.
months ka
Mag-sign
lang.
ng contract, papapirmahin ka nila. Okay, so aside from that signing of contracts, meron din tayong signing of forms. And examples of forms are oath of privacy. O for example, in PSA na pinagtrabahuan ko, nung nag-gather kami ng data ninyo na mga mag-register sa National ID System, we were also asked to sign a particular document for us to be held accountable kapag naikalat yung demographic data ng isang tao. So hindi namin basta-basta pwedeng ipagkalat sa kapitbahay namin, sa nanay namin, yung mga impormasyon na nakakalat namin. O may nairehistro ako na citizen ng Pangasinan na annulled sa kanyang asawa. Hindi ko yun pwedeng ikwento sa nanay ko. Lalo na kapag yung nanay ko ay pumare niya. Chika. Ano. So, hindi pwedeng ganun. Kahit na nanay mo, asawa mo, anak mo, kapatid mo, hindi mo pwedeng ipinagkakalat yung information na nag-gather mo, yung data na nag-gather mo from other people. Okay, and I think, ito, UK data protection, yung kanina EU, ito naman UK. I'm sure na may similarities itong mga ito. Let's take a look. Based on following principles, also known as Young's principles, personal data shall be processed fairly and lawfully. Personal data shall be obtained only for one or more specified and lawful purposes. O, di ba, halos pareho lang. Sabi niya, kung ano yung nabanggit na purpose, doon mo lang dapat gagamitin yung data na nag-gather mo and shall not be further processed for any other purposes. So, personal data shall be adequate, relevant, and not excessive in relation to the purposes. So personal data shall be accurate and where necessary kept up to date. Personal data shall not be kept for longer than is necessary for that purpose. Personal data shall be processed in accordance with the rights of data subjects. Appropriate technical and organizational measures shall be taken against unauthorized or unlawful processing of personal data and against accidental loss or destruction of or damage to personal data. And personal data shall not be transferred to a country or territory outside the European Economic Area unless that country or territory ensures an adequate level of protection for the rights and freedoms of data. Okay, itong number 8 yung medyo naiiba at karagdagan doon sa nauna natin na-discuss na EU Data Protection Directive. Dito naman sa UK, may number 8 sila. For example niyan, class, sino na yung nakakulong sa ibang bansa na kababayan natin dahil ang kaso sa kanya ay nag-drug dealer siya kasi nakakitaan siya ng droga sa kanyang maleta upon arrival sa kanilang bansa. Parang letter J, yung pangalan niya, nakalimutan ko na. Kung ka na-recall? Sino yung kababayan natin na nasa ibang bansa ngayon na nakakulong kasi nakitaan siya ng droga sa kanyang maleta upon arrival in the country na pagkatrabahuan sana niya. Okay, regardless of the name, this is the point. Dito sa number 8, yung country na yun, for example, ay nag-a-ask ng data nung ikinulong nila from the Philippines. Si Pilipinas ay hindi basta-basta mag-i-issue ng data nung kababayan natin. Okay? Hindi basta-basta ganun. So that is the point of number 8. Okay? We cannot release a certain data to any other country outside your territory. Alright, let's proceed sa USA naman, Acts on Privacy, Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act of 1996, also known as HIPAA or HIPAA, and then we also have Children's Online Privacy Protection Act 1998 or COPPA. Of course, ang nakapaloob sa Children's Online Privacy Protection Act na ito, kung mapapansin ninyo yung mga applications na you have to enter your age muna before you can proceed to using the application or to browsing the application. Okay, kailangan mo munang i-enter yung age mo, tapos i-validate ng parents. Mag-enter ng thumb mark ang parent or fingerprint scan ang parent bago ma-access ng bata yung application na yon. I'm sure nakapaloob yan sa Children's Online Privacy Protection Act. Naka-encounter na ba kayo ng mga ganon? Applications na hinihingi muna ang inyong edad bago kayo makapag-browse doon sa software na yon or sa application na yon. Raise your hand, please, kung na-encounter nyo na. Sa YT Kids, YouTube Kids, di ba? Papa-enter nyo muna yung pangalan mo, tapos ipapa-validate sa parent, papa-fingerprint scan yung parent bago magamit ng bata yung application. Okay. So I saw 4 hands raised. Thank you for participating. Pero it's 1:19. Can I ask all of you to raise your hand if you're still listening to me? Malapit na class. Papasadaan na lang natin yung mga ibang slides. Alright, so half of you raise your hands. Yung mga hindi nag-raise ng hand dyan, ibig sabihin, hindi sila nakikinig. Alright, so Family Education Rights and Privacy Act or FERPA and then Gramm-Leach-Bliley Act of 1999. Okay, anong sinasabi ng HIPAA 1996? Self-insurance, portability, and accountability. This is the idea. Established procedures for the exercise of individual health information privacy rights. Nauulit lang actually yung discussion natin. Ayun nga, sa hospital setting, hindi basta-basta pwedeng i-access ang health data ng isang pasyente. Kapag hindi kanya binigyan ng karapatan na usisahin kung ano ang diagnosis niya, wala kang karapatan para i-scan o i-browse yung kanyang medical records. Okay? The use and disclosure, all the more na hindi mo pwedeng i-disclose. So the use and disclosure of individual health information should be authorized or required. Okay, sa COPPA 1998 naman, the primary goal of COPPA is to place parents in control. Ayan na, yung sinasabi ko sa inyo, over what information is collected from their young children online. The rule was designed to protect children under age 13 while accounting for the dynamic nature of the internet. For example, YouTube Kids, i-enter mo muna ang edad ng isang bata, tapos fingerprint scan ng parent bago ma-access ng bata yung mga videos doon. And then FERPA 1974, Family Education Rights and Privacy Act, assigns rights to parents regarding their children's education records and rights transferred to student once student becomes 18. Okay, so kayo, college student na kayo, yung right na ito ng mga magulang ninyo nung kayo ay nasa elementary and high school, na transfer na yan sa inyo. You have the total control over your data. Kaya naman, matutuwa kayo sa sasabihin ko. For example, yung nanay mo ay nagre-request sa registrar na tignan ang grade mo kasi naghihinala siya sa iyo kung bagsak ka ba o pasado ka, tapos pinag-aaral ka niya, nasa abroad siya. Nag-send siya ng request sa registrar because of COPPA. Well, this is applicable in the US and I think ganun din naman sa Pilipinas. Because of the provisions within COPPA or under COPPA, hindi basta-basta ibibigay ni registrar yung data na hinihingi ng nanay. Kasi kayo ay 18 years old and above na. Kayo ang may karapatan sa data ninyo. Kung sana ay high school at elementary kayo and under 18, definitely kapag nag-request yung parent na kunin yung grado ng kanyang anak sa registrar ng eskwelahan na kanyang pinag-aaralan, ibibigay ka agad. But because you are college students, ipagpapaalam muna sa inyo ng registrar kung pwedeng ibigay yung inyong data doon sa nanay ninyo. Matutuwa kayo, especially pag isa kayo, no, hindi malalaman ng nanay. Pero that's actually wrong. Although do not be confused, kasi class, meron tayong some third parties collaborating with Pangasinan State University, and these third parties are providing scholarships to students of PSU at doon sa kontrata na pipirmahan ng estudyante ng PSU at nung nagpo-provide ng scholarship, meron doon na may karapatan si third party na i-access yung data ng estudyante. Kaya for example, ikaw ay scholar, may karapatan yung nagbibigay ng pondo sa'yo na tanungin kay registrar kung pasado ka ba o bagsak sa ganitong subject. So wag magko-confuse class ha. Kahit na 18 years old ka na, may karapatan yung nagbibigay ng pondo sa'yo, nagpapaaral sa'yo na i-access yung data mo. Especially kapag kayo ay nasa isang kontrata. Okay? So kapag ka magulang mo, 18 years old and above ka na, nasa iyo ang karapatan. Pero kapag ikaw ay under a contract, tapos may third party na involved na nagpo-provide ng scholarship mo, may karapatan siya na kunin ang data mo sa registrar. Okay. And then, this is the last muna. Hanggang 11:30 lang tayo. Gramm-Leach-Bliley Act of 1999, also known as the Financial Modernization Act of 1999. This is a federal law enacted in the United States to control the ways that financial institutions deal with the private information of individuals. Companies that offer consumers financial products or services like loans, financial or investment advice, or insurance requires to explain their information sharing practices to their customers and to safeguard sensitive data. So itong Gramm-Leach-Bliley Act of 1999, patungkol naman ito sa mga agencies or corporations na mga nagpapautang. Okay, mga Financial Modernization Act of 1999. So loans, financial assistance, investment, etc. Sige nga, magbigay nga kayo ng mga, para lang makarelate kayo. Institution sa Pilipinas na kinabibilangan ng mga nanay ninyo, yung mga naglo-loan dyan. Nung elementary, high school natigil naman na. Nung elementary ako, my mother is very fond of loaning money from TSPI. Familiar kayo dyan sa TSPI? Raise your hand kung sino familiar sa TSPI. Raise your hand. Ma'am. Alright, Shaira Lopez is familiar. Ayan, yung nanay ko, very fun dyan kasi nakukulang yung pinagkukuhanan namin ng income sa puto business namin. So, nangungutang yung nanay ko sa TSPI. So, parang every week, every Tuesday yata yung pagbabayad nila. So, syempre, yung weekly payment, depende yan sa kung ilan yung nahiram mo. Okay. So, yung TSPI na yan, dati, as far as my mother was concerned, parang for loaning lang talaga siya. Ewan ko lang kung nagbago na ngayon. Pero may mga panibagong financial assistance companies or corporations na hindi lang loans ang service nila, kundi pwede na rin mag-invest doon or mag-save. Okay, so parang bangko lang din, ang difference nga lang, kapag sa bangko natutulog yung pera, pag sa financial corporations, sa financial assistance corporations katulad ng PSPI, may interest or percentage yung pera na ininvest mo, parang may share ka sa tinutubo ng kumpanya. Pero mas safe kasi sa bangko kaysa sa yung mga ganong institutions. Although, kung ang pag-uusapan natin ay profit, mas maganda sa TSPI kaysa sa bank na natutulog lang ang pera mo. Alright. Okay, I think we stop there. Tapos na. So for the next meeting, face-to-face na tayo hopefully and sana mag-ease na rin yung very high humidity na nararanasan natin. Okay, so sa Wednesday next week, that is your financial exam, midterm exam. And then, mag-meet tayo ng, after Wednesday, mag-meet tayo ng Friday, quiz ninyo ng chapter 6. Okay? So that would be all, class. Thank you for listening. We still have remaining 30 minutes. You can spend that on starting to review or you can spend that to rest na dyan sa inyo mga kabataan. Open your camera please so we can have our group photo and then I'll end the meeting.
Ma'am, isisend niyo po to sa MS natin. Ma'am.
Yes, Mary Rose?
Ma'am Clarice. Isisend niyo po ba to, ma'am, sa natin?
I-upload ko.
Thank you, ma'am.
Alright, ready? 1, 2, and smile. Alright. Ulit natin pala na natakpan yung pagmumukha kong ganda. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Alright. Goodbye, class. Have a very good day. I'll end the meeting.
Thank you, ma'am.
Bye.